I've had many a barroom conversation around what if we allow athletes to use performance-enhancing drugs. Let's just see how far we can take the human body. Obviously, this was in the hypothetical, but now it appears that there have been some sports promoters and big money backers who said, yes, let's have an enhancement games, the Olympics on steroids. Quite literally. The enhanced games are scheduled for 2026 in May in Las Vegas, and it will allow the use of performance-enhancing substances. And the events include swimming, athletics, weightlifting. There's, of course, big cash money behind in the prizes, but also big-name financial backers, including Peter Thiel. Khalid Gallant is the CEO of the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport. Good morning, Khalid. Really appreciate your time. Have you also maybe hypothesized just what would happen if we decide to say, you know what, let the athletes use the performance enhancers. Let's just see how fast a human can actually run.
Good morning, Lester, to you and your listeners. Hypothetically, I don't know. I couldn't even conceptualize it based on the work that I do. It has been widely condemned by entities, anti-doping agencies like ours, and also sport across the board. It's ironic that it is in Las Vegas, which is the center of entertainment and also known as Sin City, ironically. So one can only look at it in terms of the context, not in sport, but more entertainment and sensationalism.
So it being in Las Vegas, it having big name, high profile investors, what does it say about the commercialization, but also how it would impact on probably vulnerable athletes, how it may be dangerous if an athlete's objective is to score a $500,000 prize, but I'm going to dope myself up to try and get that prize?
Well, you touched on the important point when you said vulnerable athletes and dope myself up to the gills to win money. So it will be a race to the bottom. Again, irrespective of the long-term health consequences, and obviously we're putting aside the whole fair play and integrity of sport because you're trying to legalize something that is illegal in doping. So it would be, in sport, it would be a race to the bottom. Use the same scenario in South Africa. If we say, the Springboks is not just good enough, let's have controlled doping in sport. Let's have a Craven Week rugby tournament that all the kids can dope. So you can see if one hypothesizes in that context, that will be a race to the bottom and the long-term and dire consequences. Two young athletes, and then those that probably don't have the skills to be an elite level, thinking, oh, this is maybe the way to go. So from our perspective, it's a ludicrous idea. It's really crazy, and for South African athletes that are contemplating taking part in the game, they potentially will run afoul of the anti-doping rules and could be banned from sport.
Okay, so you're saying that if a South African athlete who generally competes in athletics, in various other codes, if they take part in these games, they could face a sanction by South African authorities. Say, well, because you participated there, you're now no longer going to be participating in sports codes in South Africa.
Correct, and it won't only be South African athletes, it will be the International Federation of the Code. You mentioned swimming and track and field, so those world governing bodies will also have a sanction. Obviously, this is unprecedented, so it will be testing our rules and regulations. But, those rules and regulations are there, and for those athletes that are wanting to take the risk and participate in the enhanced game, we will see if the regulations and law will apply.
Let me push back on the concept of fair play and integrity in sport. We have obscene amounts of financial backing that goes into sporting clubs. Is it then fair in the premise of sport should be egalitarian, it should be integrous, there should be a fair playing field? literally and figuratively, but you have some clubs, some athletes who can achieve and perform and excel, but if they have monetary backing behind them. Is that fair play? Is that integrity?
Well, that's more of a commercial fair play type of situation. And in sport, I know in football, there's, like limits on how much you can pay. There's the salary cap and all that stuff. But the fair play with respect to the enhanced games is on the field, it's in the pool, and it's protecting that space of sport rather than the boardroom commercial space in terms of player salaries, though they're using money as a big incentive for athletes to participate in this game.
Are we seeing a cultural shift in sport? The move away from the competitive nature of human performance on a fair playing field, and seeing sport move more to the paradigms of sport entertainment. Early on, we were talking about the Run It Straight challenge, where a 19-year-old was killed in New Zealand. The Run It Off challenge, when two rugby players run at each other, one 19-year-old died. That for me has no place in sport. But are we seeing this change of where we are moving away from the beauty, the philosophical beauty of sport, and moving more to a realm of entertainment here?
Well, not from my perspective. I mean, I still see sport evolving and staying there. But what you're referring to is this innovation of, whether you're referring to the rugby game. That is a TikTok thing. That's not a sport establishment thing.
Yeah, I
But
have seen
sport
it at
is
some.
innovating.
I have seen some festivals when they've had these ad hoc challenges. Yeah, but to me, it just seems that we're moving away from what is the beauty, the fairness of human.
Well, sport is
endeavor.
innovating and it has to move with the trends. And the reason for its innovating is to keep capturing its audiences. So I mean, 30 years ago, rugby sevens wasn't even that popular. Rugby sevens now has sold out crowds. So it's about sports innovating. Look at cricket with T20. So sport has to innovate to draw crowds and to sustain its commercial value. So this is probably one of the, unintended consequences of that innovation.
Khalid Gallant, really appreciate your time, CEO of the SA Institute for Drug-Free Sport.